All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to virtual at midday at Sac State. Congratulations on you guys' admissions. We're so happy to have you here, even though at least it's like through this format. But nonetheless, my name's Evelyn Fuentes. I am the reservations coordinator for our office orientation team, and I'm a third year student here at Sac State, majoring in health science.
Awesome. What's up, y'all? My name is Logan Liao. I am one of the new student orientation coordinators. I'm a communication study major. I'm also minoring in marketing and journalism, and I'm a graduating senior. So,
Logan is leaving us. Tear, tear.
it's okay, y'all. You'll see me in summer. You'll see me in summer.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Um, awesome, awesome. And now that y'all know a little bit about us, we're gonna go ahead and give you the lowdown on orientation. And kind of speak to that. So just to let y'all know what we got planned for you in this little session, in this webinar, we're going to kind of talk to you about what is new student orientation. We're going to kind of give you the details about what we'll be doing with all of you in the summer, as well as we'll be going into the process of how to register for orientation, the orientation fee, and some other logistics like that. At the very end, we will be having a Q&A session where you'll be able to ask us any questions about anything we covered in the presentation, or any questions you have about Sac State in general. I've been at Sac State for 4 years. Evelyn's been around for a while as well. And so we're more than happy to answer any questions that you might have today. Um, and yeah.
Yeah, so just yeah, like Logan said, just hold your questions till the end. That way we can get this information out in one shot and then answer all questions out in one shot as well.
Right.
All right, but let's get started now.
Awesome, awesome. So y'all, you are attending Virtual Admitted Student Day 2021. Whoop, whoop. Welcome to Sacramento State, virtually, of course. But yeah, and so we're new student orientation, and we're gonna just go ahead and talk to y'all for a little bit. And so let's go ahead and talk about transfer orientation at Sac State, all right, and exactly what that's going to be like. And so for starters, here are the dates that orientation for transfer students is going to be going on. It's going to be happening from June 14th to June, sorry, my thing is covering June 30th. I just want to make sure I didn't say June 3rd, right? So June 14th to June 30th, all right? Um, Additionally, I'd like to say that you are eligible to register for orientation from now until, Evelyn, you remember the deadline for registering for orientation for our transfer students?
Let me let me double check on it just because I have like two dates in my head, but I do not want to give the wrong one. So
Right. We
carry
don't
on with
want
anything else that you're gonna say. That way I can go ahead and just
to.
double check on that.
Yeah, yeah. I believe it's May 21st for transfer students. You'll have until May 21st to register. Um, and yeah, so just keep those dates in mind. But some of y'all are probably wondering, what are we going to even do at virtual orientation, right? You're thinking it's in person, right? We're going to give you the tour, the whole shebang. But let me go ahead and talk to a little about what orientation is going to be like virtually. And so we have a snapshot here of kind of the daily schedule and what you'll be doing. And so for starters in the morning, besides the check-in with the orientation leader, we're going to kind of have this Hornet to Hornet time, right? Where you're going to be meeting with your orientation leader and kind of just they're going to be giving you the all about all the things you need to know about Sac State. We're going to talk about academic requirements with you, campus resources, and you're literally just going to have time to discuss with them about anything from clubs, how to get involved on campus, working on campus, and a lot of different stuff. And so that's that first little chunk of time there.
Mhm.
We're going to have major advising time for all of you. Where major advisors and people a part of your major department will come and speak to you about the specific classes and what you'll need for your major. They'll talk about different involvement opportunities as well, which is super cool. We do give y'all breaks. We make sure we don't run you through the entire day, so we'll have breaks built in there. And probably one of the things that y'all probably want to know the most is that you'll actually have one-on-one advising time with your orientation leader. It's at this point where they'll take your transfer credit, they'll see what classes that you're bringing in with you, what they count for at Sac State, and then they'll be talking to you about some GE course recommendations for you. And so by the end of the day, your orientation leader will have helped you out to the point where you'll be knowing what classes you can use to register for the next fall semester. Um, and that's kind of a breakdown of the day. Evelyn, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, I just did want to confirm though that the deadline to register for orientation is May 21st. So you were right on that. And also, just be sure to please come to orientation. It is very important and it is mandatory. So we want to make sure that you obviously get everything that you need in order to start Sac State on a good note, but also that you are registered and officially enrolled into your courses. Um, if you don't come to orientation, then unfortunately at times that can like affect your admissions, but it is very important for you to attend, so please come. I promise it's going to be worth it. You're going to know a lot of bunch of like good information that's going to be helpful for you.
Yeah, yeah, and we're so the orientation leaders are all students too, and so we're just going to give you the information you need to know and have fun with you and get you excited about coming to Sac State.
Mhm.
And we're going to make it as fun of a day as possible as well. So awesome, awesome. Um, Evelyn, why don't you go ahead and talk to them about what we've got going for them?
Yeah, so pretty much a day before your orientation, we're gonna have a transfer Hornet social night. So pretty much, just we really want to try and embed this aspect of like getting to meet new people, although it's like in a virtual format. Obviously, if we were in person, it was just a matter of saying, "Hey, like, hi, like, I'm this major. Where are you from?" And then who knows, even build a friendship off of that. I know personally when I attended my orientation, I met a friend of mine who I've been now roommates with for like 2 years, and she's like my best friend. We do everything together, and we met at orientation. So we still want to contribute that aspect in. So, we created this social night thing where you guys can like chime into Zoom. We'll do activities, some fun stuff, and just kind of get to know people. See who you'll be. Probably, who knows? Maybe you guys will have the same orientation day, and then you guys will at least get to see each other and help each other out throughout your time here. So that's kind of like what we have going on. Logan, do you want to add anything else to here?
Yeah, yeah, y'all. I'll just say, the cool thing about this is it's not mandatory for you to attend Transfer Hornet Social Night, but we do recommend it. And the reason we're providing you all this is to give you the opportunity, if you'd like to meet other students who are either in your major or you share some commonalities with. This is what that's here for. Again, not mandatory, but we do recommend that you come if you want to, just try and meet some new students. And kind of add to your Sac State experience and your time here with us. And so yeah, that'll just be the night before your orientation day for about an hour. And that's what we've got. That's our social night for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, yep. We got that fun event planned for you. Um, and in terms of registering for orientation, since we kind of talked about what is going to be going on at orientation, we're going to speak to the process about how you would register for that. And so we have the steps kind of laid out for you, but essentially when you Google, Sac State login, you'll get a page that says Sac State single sign on, and that'll lead you to a login page for your My Sac State. Y'all, this is essentially your central hub for everything. When I say everything, almost everything. We have your student center in here. We have your student email account can be accessed through here. At Sac State, we use Canvas for all of our courses, and so that can actually be accessed through this portal as well. So super, super awesome and super important right here. So basically, for registering for orientation, you'll log into your My Sac State. You'll click on your student center. It'll be kind of on the left underneath. You'll scroll down to the bottom and there'll be something that says new student orientation. And once you click on that, you'll be walked through a series of steps to select a date for when your major will be coming. And so that's kind of in short, how to register for orientation. And we'll go ahead and speak to that maybe a little bit later.
And just to add really quick on here, once you're taken through the process of registering for orientation, you click on like Logan said on your student center, and then that takes you to the new student orientation link, which is found towards the bottom of the page on the left hand side of your student center. Once you click on that, it will right away generate, like, let's say if you're an English major, it'll generate the dates that the English department will be here for orientation. We ideally want you to select one of those days. That way you can really get to interact with students of the same major, and that way you can meet the major advisors like from the English department. So just a little something to add on that.
Right, right. We actually kind of put the steps in for you of what it would look like. So when you're clicking on Student Center, this is what it'll look like here. You'll want to click on that one. When you scroll to the bottom, it'll say New Student Orientation under Admissions. And from there, that's how you'll register and be prompted to register for orientation. So awesome, awesome.
Now here on paying for orientation, again, to your student center, there's so much stuff on your student center. So you're gonna go ahead and click onto here by first log into your MyStack state, click on your student center. And once you're on your student center, to the left-hand side again, towards the mid part of the page, you're gonna find a link titled Account Inquiry. By clicking on this link, you'll then go on to like a yellow box titled Make an Online Payment. So by doing that, you'll be able to pay the fee of $66 and go ahead and process that payment. That payment will show up as a balance in your student center once you register for orientation. So you have about 14 days to make that payment. Now we do understand that it's very hard right now, with COVID going around, people at times being laid off from their jobs, and it's just difficult. So with that being said, we do offer a fee reduction form. Um, if you guys want to take pictures of this, that way you guys can then access the QR code and then have it take you to the form that you need to fill out. You guys can totally do that. Or it's also on our website too. If you go to our Sacramento State website, type in orientation and then go on to transfers and click on to register and pay, the form will be on there as well. But by filling this out, it'll be reviewed and then see if you qualify. If you do or don't, we will reach out to you saying, hey, you do qualify for the fee reduction form. You'll only have to pay $33, or I'm so sorry, like you didn't qualify. Your balance is still at $66. So we at least offer that, and hopefully that's a little helpful.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
can go.
totally. And just to speak to a little bit about the fee, um, y'all are probably wondering why are we charging a fee for a virtual orientation, right? And so just to kind of speak to that a little bit, the orientation fee will cover a welcome packet that we'll be sending to all of you with some goodies. What was actually in another slide, but so a welcome packet that we'll be sending to all of you new students. We'll also be covering our staffing as well as the programming that we do behind the scenes at orientation. There's a lot of coordinating that goes on, and so that's kind of what the fee is for. Just to kind of give you all a little bit of background, because that's one of the questions we'll usually get. No, but that sounds really good. In terms of, some of you might have completed this already, or some of you might be like, what is this? But we have something called Hornet pre-orientation. And so a common question we get is, why do we have to do a pre-orientation before we go to orientation? Isn't that what orientation is for? And essentially, we want you to complete this little 40-minute activity, which we call Hornet pre-orientation, so that when you come in on your orientation day, it just makes things a lot smoother. You'll kind of know the lingo that the orientation leaders are talking about. You'll also be aware of all of the different services and all the resources that are available to you in terms of like how to access your student center, how to like pull up your MySac state and your email and stuff. And so that's kind of what Hornet pre-orientation is all about. We'll talk about the academics, the majors a little bit, and then we'll also talk a lot about the resources and support programs we have as well. So super important that y'all complete this the day before your orientation, okay? So you have from now until the day before your orientation. So you have a homework assignment, but it's not due for a while. So that's there for y'all. Anything to add, Evelyn, for Hornet pre-orientation?
No, I think you're good. You covered everything.
Okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool.
All right, so our next slide on here is for parent and supporter sessions. So pretty much like you guys are all going to have your own virtual orientation. We're also offering a program for parents. So normally in person, if orientation was normal and everything would be back to the way it was, you guys would be bringing, like, if you guys wanted to, a parent or a sibling or anyone that's a guardian or someone important that you would want to bring along for orientation. They'd be able to come along. But with this virtual aspect, we're now putting together a virtual program for them to attend, which pretty much just explains anything they need to know about, like what courses you're going to be taking for in Sac State, like what you're going to need to graduate, just a bunch of cool information that they might want to know. And this program for them, though, is for free, so they don't have to pay. I know for transfers, it'll be 66 for the orientation. But for parents, if you want to have a parent come along instead of them dropping into your Zoom and being like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They can go ahead and have their own Zoom with other parents. So that'll be for free though. So it's just a matter of signing them up. When you do sign up for your own orientation, I think it'll give you the option of bringing like a guest. So this will be your way of bringing a guest to orientation, even though it's in a virtual format. Or if you don't, that's totally up to you. You can just click no, like I'm not bringing a guest. But we will offer this again if your parent is interested in attending this session. You can go ahead and take a picture of this as to how like the schedule will look like, but they will be attending orientation with you. It's just like in a different Zoom room, a different um, kind of like schedule going on in comparison to you.
Right, right. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and that's our parents and supporters sessions that we'll have going on. And in terms of those welcome packets we were talking about, y'all are probably like, "Ooh, what's in the boxes? Like, what are we getting?" Right? So one of the things that we want to really make sure so that you get your welcome packet is that your mailing address is correct. And the way you can check this is when you log on to your MySac State. Y'all notice I'll say that like maybe 20 times this whole presentation. But when you log on to your MySac State and go into your student center, you'll see some information down at the bottom and it'll have your address. You want to make sure that address is correct. Especially if you're living in an apartment, you're going to want to make sure you put your apartment number. And this is just to make sure that not that you just get the welcome packets that we'll be sending you, but if Sac State needs to mail you any important documents or information, that we have the right address on file for that. Okay. And kind of outline the steps to make sure your address is correct on the side. But to kind of give you all a preview of what's coming in the welcome packet, we have a lot of fun, exciting Sac State stuff for you. But one of the things that you'll be getting is our student planner. And so if y'all like planners like me, you'll notice I have Post-its all over this thing. But you'll basically have this with you. That's one of the things. And it'll have all the information. We have all the clubs listed in here, all the majors, all the emails for all the different departments. We have a lot of information, helpful information for y'all in here, okay? And that's just a little sneak peek preview about what you'll be getting in your welcome packet. And anything to add, Evelyn?
No, I think you nailed it.
Awesome, nailed it. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And just to say, y'all, one thing, and some of the questions that you might have might be in regards to the next fall semester, right? Are we going to be in person? Are we going to be virtual? What's the situation, right? And so currently, Sac State has messaging going out, and current students will be enrolling into classes in the next coming weeks. But things are constantly changing. And so one thing that we highly recommend is that you'll follow us on our Instagram page, our Sac State Transfers Fall 2021. I know it's a long one. We want to make sure we get you represented in there. But we'll be posting updates in that one. We also recommend that you follow the main Sac State Instagram page as well. They'll usually post a lot of the email updates from President Nelson, as well as the university there. So highly recommend that for the coming weeks. And yeah, we have a QR code that you can scan there as well. We'll be
And
doing
just
that stuff.
and just very quickly, also I'm not sure if Logan touched up on this, but as far as like the welcome package goes, make sure you to go onto your student center also and go onto your contact information. That way we can make sure we have the most up-to-date address, phone number, and most importantly, email. With everything being online, that's our main way to connect to you guys. So we want to make sure that we contact everyone and that we don't let anyone left out. So if you could probably even do that today, again, on your student center towards the bottom of the page, please do so, or make it a task so it can get done this week. That way, before we send anything else to you guys, that way we can make sure that we're getting to you to the right email.
Mhm. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, thanks for that, Evelyn. And y'all, before we're gonna go on to our session, we'll be answering questions. So get your questions ready to put in the chat about new student orientation or Sac State in general. We're excited to answer them. But this is our mascot and potentially your future mascot, Hercules T. Hornet. All right, we call him Herky for short. And yes, he works out very often. Just look at those guns. But yeah, always love flexing Herky. Herky. Awesome, awesome. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for kind of listening to us talk about orientation and how you can go about registering for orientation. And so at this point, we'll be answering any questions that you have. So please feel free to put them in the chat, and Evan and I will go ahead and just start answering them.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome,
All
awesome.
right, let's this here. Let's start with Karina's question on here. It says, is the cost for orientation the same for transfer students and new students? And yes, that fee is, like I said, $66. Alrighty, let's see here. Also, I saw there was a fee correction form.
All right, let's see.
Let's see.
Evelyn, I'll go ahead and take the next one from this attendee. I already registered for orientation, but I got conditionally admitted to EOP. And you have a set orientation date, which is great. Since you conditionally got admitted, is the date going to be different? Okay, so with your question that was asked in the Q&A, I'm taking a look and I'm a little bit confused. I might need to elaborate, but if I'm reading your question right, essentially, if you've been offered a conditional admittance into the EOP program, um, your date should stay. Your date will be different. Your orientation date will be different since students who are part of the EOP program do attend on a specific day in orientation. Your orientation date will be different. And so I would want to make sure you're keeping in contact with them and checking your emails for um, whether or not you get accepted into the EOP program, so they can give you the exact messaging on when you'll attend orientation for our EOP students. That was a great question. Um, Evelyn, I'm going to go ahead and get some more information for our EOP students.
Okay.
Is there any other questions that you see that you can answer?
So it says here, when is the due date for the fee reduction form? I believe to my understanding it is May 21st. Logan, does that sound right?
Yes, sounds about right.
So May 21st will be the deadline, which is when we'll stop taking like reservations for orientation. So if you could get that done prior to and then send that off to the email address on the form that is listed on there towards the top, you'll be good to go. Now it says here, Genesis mentioned, I'm temporarily living outside the country. Can I use my current address or just leave my other address? Whatever address you're currently living in and you receive packages to, um, please use that one. So if it's a different address now, go ahead and please update it on your student center. Like I said, student center, towards the bottom of the page, you're gonna find all your contact information with your address, email, and phone number. So just please update all of that for us. Now it says here, when does transfer student social night begin? So student transfer social night begins a day prior to your orientation. So I'm assuming that we're sending them a link off prior a day before, that way they can chime in before the orientation, right, Logan?
Correct. Yeah. So the day before your orientation, you'll be getting an email from your orientation leaders as well as the O team, and they'll provide you with the Zoom link to join for our fun transfer Hornet social night that we'll be having for you. So
And
yeah.
then I have here Lucrecia. She's asking, when is orientation for EOP? Orientation for EOP is June 14th. So just go ahead and note that down. If you're a part of EOP, you will be a part of that orientation session.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now,
Awesome. And I'll go ahead and answer Morgan's question about where do we find the day. So Morgan's question is, where do we find what day our orientation is based on our major? And so Morgan, I'm going to go ahead. Let me pull up our website real quick. So on our website, we essentially have a schedule that outlines all the majors and then the days that orientation will be going on for those majors. And so let me make sure I pull that up for you now, and I'll go ahead and get that for you. Awesome. Yeah, so it's going to be right in here. And so if y'all are interested in looking at the different days that you can attend orientation based on your major, that's what I'll be sending in the chat right now, okay? Awesome. Taking a look at Vanessa's question, will we be officially registered in courses by the end of orientation? And And will the leaders help us through the process to make it sure we done correctly? Yes. So Vanessa, basically you'll be seeing throughout the day at orientation, you'll see major advisors who will tell you what major classes you'll need. Then you'll go through your one-on-one advising with the orientation leader. From there, they'll tell you what general education classes you need. And then at the very end, they'll have time for registration help. So if you're unsure if like you're registered, that's the time when the orientation leader will be just your reassurance and just reassuring you that you're registered into classes. Um, so that's a great question.
And
Uh,
let me see. Karina, I sent you like a little chat message. Hopefully that answered your question specifically as to the fee reduction form. So just please take a look at that one. And then Cassandra, I'm going to go ahead and email you, not email you, I'm so sorry, drop the email of EOP in the chat box. That way you can check with them to verify if you did or did not get accepted into the program. So I'll send that off to you right now.
Awesome. And I did notice, y'all, we are mentioning EOP a lot. And so for those of you, I see one of the questions in the chat is what is EOP? Y'all, EOP is the Educational Opportunity Program, and it's one of the programs we have on campus that essentially serves for California residents from low-income households. And so that's one of the programs we have here at Sac State. And so if you're hearing that and you're wondering what it is, that's what it is. And if you have any questions about EOP, feel free to to look up Sac State EOP. But that's just what it is for those of you who are curious.
And
Awesome.
then Antonio
Um,
here asking, is it possible to change the day I registered for orientation? Yes, it is. If you happen to have any conflicts with maybe that day doesn't work out for you anymore, you can go ahead and email us to our reservations email, which I'll drop right now down in the chat. And then just shoot us an email with your name and your student ID and the reason as to why you don't want to, or like kind of like why you need to change your date. So sorry. That way we can go ahead and see what other dates we have available for you, because as students are coming in, they're taking in some days and there's days already that are closed. So we'll see what we can offer for you and what we can work out for you. Okay.
Totally. I'm going to answer Adrian's question in the Q&A. So you tried registering for orientation, but it didn't let you. One of the reasons this might be is because when you're in your student center, you should see something with it where it says holds and to-do list. And so one of the things that I know is that if you have any holds or any to-do list items, and you click on details, those might be preventing you from registering for orientation. Evelyn, is there anything else that could prevent them from registering for orientation?
As far so the main thing that could probably prevent you from registering for orientation is, first, if you haven't hit your intent to enroll. So pretty much letting SAC say no, like, yes, I'm going to be going with you guys. I'm totally going to be attending this upcoming semester. Usually when you hit that intent to enroll and you give the yes to SAC state that you are coming, it takes about a week or so to process, because obviously this has to be processed through the admissions department. So there's thousands and thousands of students that need to be verified prior in order for them to be fully into the system and then being able to register for orientation. So that could probably be one of the things that could keep you from registering for orientation. Or if a hold happens to come up on your student center, that could contribute to that. But obviously you won't find out if you're having issues registering for orientation until you try to register for orientation through your student center. But with that being said, if you do happen to come across any issues with registering for orientation, just email us and we'll go ahead and look into our system and see what's going on, and then get you ready for orientation and enroll for a day at orientation with us. But let me drop the email for us. That way you guys can reach out to us if you guys have any more questions after this session. We're very good about answering your emails, so I promise we'll get back to you guys within like a day or a few hours. But we will make sure to answer every email that comes to us.
Totally, totally. I did notice a question in the chat about our students. I can't, about our services for students with disabilities. In that department, I'm actually providing information with their email on there as well. So hopefully that answers that question. They have all of their links there and information for how to apply for them there. Okay. Let's see. I'm seeing another question. Does the pre from Vanessa, does the pre-orientation save our progress or do we have to complete it all at once? Evelyn, I believe you got to complete it all at once, or is it like, can you pause and like,
Yes, you have to complete it all at once.
right, right. Yeah, so yeah, you'll have to complete that all at once. It should take about 35 to 40 minutes. But yeah, that's a great question. Um,
Okay, let's see. Melissa's asking here, when is the parents' orientation? Melissa, when you enroll for your, I need to stop saying enroll, sorry. When you register for your orientation, so let's say you're gonna choose to come June 15th, the parent orientation will be that day too. So they will be emailed a link to their email. So when you do register them, it's gonna ask you like what's their name, what's the relationship to you, their phone number, and their email address. We're going to email them like a Zoom link to a parent Zoom session for them to attend. So the day that you come for your orientation, let's say it's June 15th, theirs will be the same day as well, just in a separate Zoom room, if that makes sense.
awesome, awesome. Let's take a quick look here.
This is, I'm so sorry,
Go ahead.
Logan. This
Go
is
ahead.
for Vanessa Navarro. You were asking about the EOP email. I listed that on the chat. Let me know if you can still see it. I listed it right before you like sent your chat on there. So let me know if you can still see it. It should be EOP-01@csus.edu.
Mhm. Yeah, and I did see where was it? I did see your question about the intent to enroll. So you have until May 1st to submit your intent to enroll. Um, so you could totally submit on April 30th. Just know you have until May 1st. As when we asked you that you submit your ITE, your intent to enroll, okay? And kind of looking at some of the other questions in the chat as well. In terms of, first to answer this one, you will be registering for courses at orientation. So your orientation leaders will give you your course recommendations along with the major advisors you'll see. And from there, they'll walk you through the steps on how to register for classes. And they'll be able to walk you through that process. Um, in terms of one of the other questions that we got in the chat, and I think this will be beneficial for everyone here, is will fall semester be online or in person? And to answer that question, the university is currently sending out messaging to students as registration is coming up for current Sac State students. And the initial plan is there's going to be classes that will be hybrid, and there's also going to be classes that are offered fully online. And so please don't try to worry about that too much because at orientation, your orientation leader will walk you through it all. Just know that for next fall semester, we are looking for some classes to have a hybrid component, so an in-person and online. And then we are also looking to have classes be fully online, like the last couple of semesters. So hopefully that answers that question.
And then to answer Karina's question, I'm so sorry. I want to make sure that we get all of all of our questions answered. You mentioned about the income limit for EOP and how do you apply? Logan, I'm not sure. Did that deadline pass already, or is that still active?
Um, I think I'm not too sure. I think we're gonna have to refer them to the EOP
Okay.
email. Yeah.
So if you're able to see that, Karina, I dropped the email on there. Go ahead and email them and see if they still are taking students. I'm not sure if they are or if they still offer that application, but send them an email. You can also like if I'm not sure if I think it'll probably be a little bit more faster if you email them with your student name, student ID, and then explain kind of like why you're reaching out, that you're still interested in EOP, and what's the process in doing that, and hopefully they'll reach back out to you.
Right.
um,
Yes, let's make sure we answered all the questions in
when
here.
is registration open for transfer students? Is that so as far as registration for transfer
For
students,
class.
as far as courses go, that'll open up June 14th, but that doesn't mean you have to like enroll to your classes on June 14th. No, it means that it'll be open. So from the time we start orientation for transfers to this time, I can't talk, to the time it ends, that system will be open in order for us to enroll students as they're coming in for their orientation. So the day that you come for your orientation will be the day that you register for your classes. So that's just a note saying like, okay, like, the system's gonna go. Now you can enroll. Cause obviously if you're trying enrolling right now in classes, it won't let you because first of all, you need to complete your orientation first, then we can get you enrolled into your classes.
Right. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and answer Vanessa's question. And y'all, we'll be answering questions for about 5 more minutes. Okay, so if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Um, from our own experience, what makes Sac State stand out from other schools? I like this one. Vanessa, I've been at Sacramento State for 4 years. And I'm going to be honest with you, when I was applying for schools, I applied to Sac State because I had family that went to Sac State. Like my grandfather had come to Sac State, so I was like, "Oh, let's try this out." What made me fall in love with Sac State, for one, is the campus. Campus is super, super beautiful, and it's kind of like in the center of everything in Sacramento. So, like, if you want to, go to downtown Sacramento, if you want to take a walk on the American River Trail, if you want to go up by Arden Mall, and you can go to Folsom, Elk Grove. It's kind of like in the center of everything. I also feel like, for me personally, Sac State stands out. One thing is we're super diverse, and that's not just in terms of race and ethnicity. That's also in terms of just all the interests of students. Like, we have over 300 clubs on campus, and that's one thing that I love about Sac State. Evelyn, remember, there's just, can't you can speak to that too, right? Just so
Yeah.
many different. Uh,
There's honestly, like I'm on the same spot with Logan on that. I love our campus. If I do miss it so much being in person, it's just a whole different, you can say, vibe out there with like the trees. It's such a big campus. It's pretty, and it's like at the same time, even though it's big, you have all the classrooms kind of like next to each other, like the buildings and stuff. So it's like you don't feel so lost in a sense. Yeah, we have just so much stuff, and it's like Logan said, such a diverse campus. You get to meet so many people from all over the world, all kinds of different backgrounds. The amount of clubs, job opportunities that we have on campus, it's just awesome. I definitely don't regret coming to Sac State. I love it here.
mhm,
um and yeah, I'm trying to think of everything. It's been like a
right,
minute since I've been on campus, but
right.
um, we hope that you do make this your choice. I'm sure you won't regret it. We're all about, helping students, making sure we're there, that we can help you out in whatever we can, even though we're still in this virtual format. So
Yeah, yeah. Vanessa, that was a great question, by the way. That threw me off, but I hope seeing Evelyn and I kind of go off about Sac State kind of just shows you like how it shaped us, and how it can potentially shape you. So yeah, no, that was a great question.
and
Um,
Brian here says you have to complete pre-orientation before sending the fee reduction form. Um,
you don't.
No, you don't. You
Yeah.
do not have to do that. So you could send in the fee reduction form whenever you can, as soon as possible. The sooner, the better. And also complete your pre-Hornet orientation. That needs to be done before you attend orientation. So make sure you register for your orientation. You complete your pre-Hornet orientation. You pay for your fee. And if you happen to send that fee reduction form, send it as soon as possible. That way that can be processed um, through, and then that way we can hopefully reach back out to you as soon as possible.
Right, right. And yeah, just to, and then to answer this one in the chat, as a transfer student, will I be able to take classes in summer? So if you try to, so since you're coming in for the fall semester, I think this question is actually if you can take, for the person who sent this, because it's saying anonymous, but are you referring to if you can take classes this upcoming summer, or just summers after you're enrolled into Sax, like after your first semester? If you wouldn't mind clarifying, because as a transfer student, you can totally take summer classes at Sac State, but in terms of enrolling into classes for this summer, I think the deadline might be passed for summer courses. Evelyn, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the deadline might be passed since we're coming on up on it
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's all the questions. Um, I think we answered everything. If we didn't, copy and paste your question again because we might have lost it in the chat. Um, But yeah, does anyone have any last minute questions for Evelyn or myself about maybe orientation or about our experience at Sac State? Um, let's take a look. We'll give them a second to type it up, but
Vanessa, yes, you will have your own orientation like leader for the day. So we're going to be there to help you out through the entire process. So it's not like we're going to throw you into the woods and, say good luck, like make sure you're registered into your classes. No, we're going to do a bunch of advising prior, a lot of stuff that you need to know, and then we'll get you into your classes. And yes, we will be there to help you out if you need any help to enroll. Sorry, I'm just like checking the Q&A box because I think some got sent there and some were in the
mhm,
chat. So
mhm. Yeah, I was looking at that one too. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, also if look, I think we got, excuse me, one more from Cassandra. Email in the chat for some reason. Oh, okay. All right, Cassandra, what I'll recommend for you is if you're on your phone, go ahead and just Google Sac State EOP. And once you go onto their webpage, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, their email will be at the bottom of the page by the Meet Us section and the Contact Us.
yeah, if
So yeah, if
if
it's not
for
showing up.
anyone who needs to get in contact of like any other department or if anything comes up in mind, literally just go to Google and type in, like, for example, since we're talking about the EOP department, just type in EOP Sac State. That'll take you like directly to their webpage on our Sac State website. And then towards the bottom of the page, you will see like their phone number and their email.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And let me just double check here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Alrighty, y'all. So, thank you so much for sitting in with us. But we were at the end of our presentation. We hope we were able to give you some information about orientation, but also get you a little bit excited about Sac State. And so, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on social media or even through the email that Evelyn sent earlier on our website. All right. And so, with that, without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap
Thank
up this
you,
webinar.
everyone. Thank you, Cassandra. You were awesome for all those questions. I'm sure that helped other
Yes.
people. Yes,
Yes.
fingers up.
All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon. Bye. Yeah.
Bye.